up, everybody, and welcome to my crib. No, I was gonna try and say that, but I'm not cool enough. Welcome to Cooper Studios. I'm so excited about this. This has been 3 years in the making. I worked so hard on this place to create something really, really special, and I'm so excited to finally get to really show it to you guys. So many incredible companies helped make this possible, and I'm so thankful to them and to you guys. And today I get to show you the whole behind the scenes tour. So let's get started. Right now we are in my garage, which is also my rec space. Imagine one day a ping pong table right there. Working on that, and a little bit of a kitchenette over here. It's basically just an overflow area so that I can entertain more people and have more people here without getting too crowded in the main areas of the studio. So let's get started, let's go in there and see what really matters, and let's go. So as you can see from this shot here, and I wanted to show you what this started as. There was absolutely nothing here. It was just an unfinished basement, no rooms, nothing to be excited about, and now I'm really excited to show you what it is today. Oh hey, so this is the green room of the studio. This is where the artists hang out, watch TV, play video games, eat snacks, which is why I got the Oreos here. But this, although an important room in the studio, we're gonna skip it for now and come back to it and talk about how it's connected to the other rooms and what's cool about this space. But first, let's get to the ones you really care about. And of course, security. So this is the sound lock. This is actually the space in between the green room, the live room, and the control room, which enables the sound to lock. I guess is the easiest way to put it. Basically, the doors are your biggest source of leakage for sound, and so when you have multiple doors, that multiplies the effect that the doors have on slowing down and eliminating the audio leak between the two rooms. Now, this is also a multi-purpose space, so I had to maximize every square inch of this build. So it's also guitar boxes where I record the guitar amps and play them from the live room. Well, I don't play them, but the guitarists play them from the live room, and they're recorded in here. And so you can see built-in power, motion sensor lighting, so when you open it up you can actually see to put your gear inside. I've got red box up here, I've got blue box down there. You may also notice that they double as storage when I'm not using them as guitar amps, because I turned my entire basement into a studio and got rid of most of my storage. But I've also got these really nice RapcoHorizon plates in here, which I used RapcoHorizon throughout for all of the wall plates, and these connect to the control room and connect to the live room with XLRs, network cable, so you can actually run effects and do all sorts of crazy things. And then besides that, this space is just more storage. I've got my beautiful Decade maple kit over here. I love how it blends in with the pallet wood and the rustic look, and some hardware storage. You can fit a full like 7-8 piece kit in this area, plus rack systems. You can put microphone stands. This actually turned out to be a very, very powerful storage solution. Now, if you notice up here, this kind of became like a drumhead storage. I've got drumheads from Evans, Remo, and Aquarian. I'm doing a bunch of trials right now, and when other artists come in to play these heads, I have a great stock on hand that allows me to accommodate their desires. But most importantly right here, this is the plaque. This right here has the names of the companies and the people that supported this build, and I can't tell you how much this means to me. I took a lot of time with it. I took a lot of effort in creating something that not only listed the names and showed the logos, but showed the process from start to finish, because this has been 3 years of my life, and these are the people that supported and made it possible. So thank you to them. Thank you to the brand names here. It was huge, and I like to walk by this every single day and just say thank you as I start the work that I do. So pretty much every room in the main studio here, I actually added production lighting as well, and so this allows me to shoot video in here. So if I want to have a singer, or I want to have, if you checked out my 2 million subscriber huge world's biggest collab video, I actually had a marching snare drummer right here, and so I can flick the switch and then boom, I'm sure that's very bright, but we get nice video lighting for this space, and it allows me to shoot wherever I want. Alright, so another big thing about at least my studio build is security. I believe if you're going to put this much money into a studio, you might want to protect it. So I have security systems on the actual studio itself, on the downstairs of the whole facility, and the upstairs of the facility. Then I also have closed circuit cameras that I can actually check from my phone, and I also have Nest cameras everywhere. So it actually works out really well because I can talk to people through the cameras if I need to. If I'm letting someone in, I can actually let them in with a specific door code just for them. It's really, really cool. But you see here I got my different cameras, so I can click on this. It'll load. And there we are. Let's see if I can wave to the... So that's the sound lock, a very multi-purpose room. A very special room to me, especially because of the plaque, and I am so excited to now move on into the live room where the real magic happens. So let's check it out. Alright, welcome to the fun room. This is the live room. This is where pretty much all of the magic happens. At one point in time, I had 8 or 9 drummers in here at the same time. It was insanity, and I'm so pumped to show you around this room. There's a lot to see, and there's a lot of really cool things happening here. So first off, while I'm here, I might as well talk about this beautiful drum set in front of me. This is my new studio kit. It is a Pearl Reference Pure Music City Custom, which means that it was built in Nashville by their custom craftsmen. And this used to be a thing only artists could do, but now anybody can do it. And so when I was thinking about a drum set for the studio, I wanted something that would sound amazing and look incredible, and so I went the Music City Custom route. Now, each one of these drums has its own shell recipe, and that's what's so special about them, is that typically a drum set has one type of wood. This drum set has multiple types of wood for each shell, and each one has different amounts, different plies, different types, so that each one can sound the best that it can sound. That's the kit. Of course, I got beautiful Zildjian cymbals here on the kit as well. But back here, while I am here, this is one of the most important things in the studio, and that is your connections. Now, over here, I've got a RapcoHorizon wall plate, just like I said in the guitar boxes. Throughout the studio, there's conduit run in the wall between the different rooms, and you can see that to where the wires are pulled between the rooms. And so here we've got XLR sends and returns, and these actually go over to those guitar boxes we were talking about before, and then a bunch of networking ports as well. And then over here I've got 16 XLRs on the wall, and in the corner I actually have my video wall plate. So I've got SDI, I've got HDMI, I've got more network, I've got DMX so I can have lighting controlled. All of that is done via panel through conduit in the wall. And so very, very special. It allows me to really future-proof this room so that one day I think to myself, what do I want to do? I want to do this? Well, I've got it. I've got DMX, I've got the HDMI, I've got the networking. One network cable can actually send hundreds of audio signals between the two rooms because of the Dante network. And so that is something that I'm using here. Actually over on this side, all of these RedNet AM2s from Focusrite are connected via the Dante network, via Ethernet cables. So you can actually send individual mixes to the different people and players and artists in this room. And so each one of them can go in, change the volume on the actual headphone mix that they're receiving, and this one feeds my speakers as well, so I can actually send talk back, I can send audio playing samples. People can stand in the room and hear kind of what's going on the track they're working on through these monitors here. And another cool thing is that each of these mixes can be custom crafted with bus sends from the digital audio workstation you're working on. So you send different mixes for each person through the Dante network to each one of these RedNet AM2s, and each person in the room can control their own mix, which is really, really spectacular. So while I'm still in the corner over here, let me talk about this. This looks like a crazy rustic cabinet, but it's my mic locker or mic safe. I wanted something that was up off the ground instead of getting an actual safe, but I wanted something secure because there is a lot of money in microphones in here. And so I built this thing, really excited about how it turned out. And this is where I keep my beautiful Earthworks microphones. And so, ta-da! I just feel like you have to say that. Like, you just have to be like, ta-da! I don't know if that's the right word or not. But anyway, so in here, we've got a lot of the Earthworks DM20 close mics. That's what I use on the drums, on the actual tom, snare, things like that. And then I've got the SR25s, which I use for everything from overheads. I also use it for miking guitars and miking vocals and miking like room mics if I just want normal audio going on in the room. There's so many things you can do with the SR25s here. I've also got an assortment of Omni mics, TC20s, QTC30s, and then I've got some of their vocal mics here. I've got the SV33, and then I've got some of their live microphones here, and it's just everything that I need for the studio. Earthworks worked with me to make sure that this place can really, really record some special stuff, and so I'm very, very thankful for Earthworks and all they did. I'm also, come here, take a look at this. I'm also very thankful for Mr. David Raouf, for leaving stickers throughout my abode. Security, I'm going to throw away the key. Don't want you knowing the passcode. All right, so one of the most important things when it comes to building a studio is the sound isolation of the room, keeping outside noise from coming in, inside noise from going out. When I play drums, I don't want to wake the baby upstairs in my house. So this drywall here is a special drywall from National Gypsum called the Purple Soundbreak XP. And so basically it's 2 layers of drywall with a layer of a polymer in between that helps to isolate the sound as it comes through. And behind the drywall, I also have soundproofing or sound isolating insulation called Safe and Sound by Rockwool. And so together this allows this room to be something where I can play drums at any time, day or night, and I can even play while my family is sleeping upstairs because the ceiling has it. It has the Safe and Sound stuffed in there, and this is actually a room within a room setup. So as you can see, there's actually another wall behind the first wall that you see when you come in the room. And that wall has another layer of the Purple Soundbreak XP and more of the Rockwool Safe and Sound insulation. So this is a very sound isolating room. It was built as a room within a room so that you can really, really break down the sound transmission between the outside to the inside and the inside to the outside. And as you saw from the 2 doors over here, this room actually has a double door setup, which, as I said before, doors is the weakest point for soundproofing in a facility. And so having the 2 doors allows you to double the soundproofing ability of your doors. And you can see right here, that's how thick the wall is between the control room and the live room. There's actually 3 layers of the Soundbreak XP drywall, and there's like 3 bats of the Rockwool Safe and Sound per section here. And so with that much blocking the sound, I'm able to record in this room over here and listen and mix while someone plays in here, and there's no audible sound coming from the other room. It's really nice. While we were looking at the AM2s, I'm sure you saw my beautiful cymbals here. I'm really excited about this setup, the way to display them and also keep them, because it takes a lot of room for cymbals. I stole this idea, I don't know if you guys follow Shoemart on Instagram, but his name's Josh, and I saw him using guitar stands to put his cymbals on, and I thought that was really cool. But I like the pipe idea. I'm sure you've noticed I love the pipe, it's everywhere. But I was like, okay, cool, well, I'm going to do that for my cymbals. And so it's the pipe that's mounted to the wall and holds up the shelving, and it really becomes a multi-purpose surface here, because not only does it hold my cymbals, but I also use the black pipe for holding my cables, which RapcoHorizon supported so well with the cabling. Their cables are incredible. I don't think that you can break them. I haven't been able to break one yet, and I've probably done all the wrong things with them. So very impressed with that. Over here we've got a big screen, duh, you can tell that. But this can actually send a lot of different feeds to the live room. So say we had a live stream going on and I wanted the artist to be able to see what was happening on the live stream. I can send that in here. Or instead of a window between the live room and the control room, I can actually show an image of the control room onto this TV, so who's in here can see what's going on in the other room there. And so lots of cool stuff there, very multi-purpose. I can send lyrics if you want to have like a confidence monitor for a live performance. There's a lot of things that this enables me to do over a window, which, you know, I love the window idea, like traditional studio style, but this is just way more versatile, and so I love having that when I'm working with an artist and being able to show different things. Now, so this right here is my personal live rig, I guess, the way that I describe it. When I'm doing my own recording and I'm in the room and I want to record something myself, this is what I use, because running between two rooms isn't very much fun. I could remote control that one, but it's really simple to just have something in this space that I can work with. And so I've got 16 channels right now. This is a Focusrite Claret 8 Pre-X with a Claret Octo Pre. So that is running ADAT into the Claret 8 Pre-X. So I've got 8 preamps here, 8 more preamps there. 16 is almost always enough to record a drum set really, really well. Most of the time I like to run with about 8. And so this can roll, it can move, I can monitor the audio with the Presonus Eris monitors here. I've got this right here, which is cool. And I use this because I'm lazy and I don't want to climb around behind the back, but this is an XLR patch bay. And so I like to send little snakes from here over to the drum sets to keep the cabling and the clutter pretty simple. Just one connection between the drum set to the actual inputs here, and then it comes in here, it goes out the back and connects to the interfaces, so I can plug and change things without crawling behind this, and that's really a lifesaver. This is my in-the-room live stream rig, and so I can actually use this V1 SDI to switch between camera angles when doing my own live stream. So I can have this sitting next to me and I can be like, oh hey, check out my kick angle, and then I hit that button, switch over to the kick drum angle, and then the overhead, you know, however I have it set up. But this is a really nice piece of equipment for smaller live stream productions. I have a bigger rig in the other room, which I'll show you, but this is great for my own personal use, and I'm really excited to start using that. Now we've got a couple more AM2s over here, but this right here is the big boy. If you like snakes, you're gonna like this. This is a 24 channel RapcoHorizon snake with 8 returns as well. And so this is what I connect typically to my preamps in the control room. And so right now 1 through 8 is a Red 8 pre, 9 through 16 is Focusrite ISA 828, and then 17 through 24 is another Red 8 pre. But sometimes I take the Red 8 pre from in there and I put it in here, and I can actually connect these to the 16 channels here into the ADAT on the Red 8, and I can send that over the single Ethernet cable Dante into the other room, and I can add another 24 channels to the main rig in there via this rig right here. So there's so many possibilities. When I was actually recording the big 2 million subscriber huge collab video where we had 9 drummers and 7 drum sets, we were able to roll this into another room and use it and then tie it all together. And so, man, I can't tell you how much this has been a lifesaver, just being able to be like, okay, I need it in the room now, okay, I need it over there. It's been really cool to work with this and move it from place to place. So I'm sure you noticed the light up drum set over here when we came in the room. This is my Pearl Crystal Beat kit with drum light inside of it. It still has the Iron Man front bass drum head. And that's the cool thing about this space, is it's big enough for 2 or 3 drum sets. And so a lot of times I'll keep one drum set set up, mic'd up, ready to go, and then just for practicing, or if another drummer comes in to jam with me, I can kind of switch it up and have 2 different sets going on. So this one over here can be this drum set, and then it can be my Decade Maple. I'm actually working on an E-kit right now. I've got the new Mimic Pro, which you can actually see up here. so pumped about that. That is going to go with some True Track drum heads, and I'm going to use that as an electronic drum set for some live streams and for some lessons, and it allows me to play that while talking over it. So this is kind of the revolving side of the room where it can change, and that stays a little more stationary. All right, so another really important part of this room and part of a studio in itself is your room acoustics. And so some people may think like, okay, well, if I want to soundproof, I'm going to throw some egg crates up on the wall. But what that does is that actually adjusts the acoustics in the room itself, your reverb and the echo and really the overall sound in your space. It doesn't change the transfer between rooms. And so this right here is my room acoustics by Acoustic Geometry, and what this does is when sound hits it, it bounces off in a different direction. It also absorbs low frequencies as well, but this allows you to a lot of times put them parallel to your ears, which is why where the drummer is sitting, there's kind of two here, and it keeps you from getting unwanted reflections directly back into your ears, and allows you, especially in the control room where you're mixing, to not get weird sounds and weird reflections. So this over here is a fabric wrapped wall panel from Acoustic Geometry, and what this does is it actually absorbs and eliminates some of the unwanted frequencies and allows your room to kind of be a little more dead. Now, not completely dead, but it brings down some of the reflections and some of the echoes and reverb that a room like this would have if you didn't have these panels on the wall. We also have the fabric wrapped ceiling clouds up top, and you want to typically put those over the area where your drums or your guitar or whatever instrument you're playing is going to be. And so all in all, it allows this room to go from an echo chamber to a much more, still live, but much more dead room from what it used to be where I could clap and it would just sound crazy in here. All right, so up here we've got the black pipe trussing, which of course I went black pipe because it matches the theme, but there are other options on the market as well. But the idea behind the trussing is being able to hang lights, being able to hang backdrops. I hung my green screen up there the other day. It actually works really well for GoPros. I clamped them to it. We actually run wires across it and connect different places in the room. So it's a very, very helpful thing to have in a video production facility. All right, so that concludes the live room. Now we're gonna head over to what is probably my favorite room to work in, and that is the control room, which is kind of also my man cave. So let me show you why. Welcome to my control room. This is where I spend a lot of my time lately editing over here on this computer. So I have multiple setups here. I've got my audio rig, my video rig, and then I've got my live streaming rig. And so this computer over here is typically where I do my video editing. Then this right here is, there's a Mac Mini back behind this widescreen monitor, and that is what I do my audio recording on. And then over on this side, I'm gonna crash into things. Over on this side is my live stream setup. So I have a Blackmagic ATEM Television HD, which does 8 video channels, and then that can actually hook up to this monitor, and you can see what angles are happening. But this monitor also connects to this monitor, so I can dual screen the Mac Mini. And then this monitor here actually also connects to that monitor, so I can dual screen video edit, and they're all on articulating arms so I can move them around. So one of the cool things about this room and the way it's set up and designed is that actually 3 people can work at the same time on 3 different setups to make a big live stream production happen. So you've got the person over here who can send confidence monitor, lyrics and things like that to the other room, live stream feeds. Then the person in the middle, of course, is running the audio, the in-ear mixes, and actually doing the mixing and recording. And then on this side over here, there's another person who can actually be switching the camera angles for the live stream and putting the whole production together. It's kind of a small room, but the way that it's all designed works. I've actually had like 8 people in here at one time, all doing different things. That's another thing that I'm really happy with how this room turned out, is that every single one of these monitors has something else that it can do. So you can of course run your audio and everything down here, but the other night I had a session where I had some guys actually recording, producing right here. Then they wanted to watch the NBA game, so we had the NBA playoff game on the TV. And over here, one of my little secrets is back behind here, I have a PS4 Pro mounted on the wall. So while this TV right now is actually a digital window into the other room, it can of course be switched off, and it can switch to the PS4, or it can switch to the Livestream video angles. There's so many multi-purposes for each of the different things in this room. And so at one time I had guys recording. One of the guys who wasn't singing was playing PS4. Everybody was watching an NBA game. It was such a cool moment to see everything kind of come together. And so this room is designed around that multifunctionality. And so some of the big backbones here, of course, for audio, as I mentioned before, we have 2 of the Focusrite Red 8 pre's, which gives me 16 channels of XLR preamps, and then we've got the ISA 828 here in the middle. And so right now, connected to that RapcoHorizon Snake, we've got 1 through 8, 9 through 16, 17 through 24. Now, on top of that, I've got a few different monitor selections here. What I like to do is switch between the bigger 8 inches and then go to the 4 inch when I really want to kind of hear some articulate details in the mix. Now, the last speakers here are these Avantones, and what these do is they basically recreate the idea of a speaker that doesn't have a good low end or bass to it. And so when you're mixing for the internet, when you're mixing for iPhones and laptops and things like that, you got to know that the speakers are not going to be very great. And so if I can get a mix to sound good on these Avantones, then most likely it will translate to an iPhone. Now, I still like to check it on an iPhone and check it on a laptop, but the 3 speaker situation here allows you to get a good concept of what it's going to sound like in different environments before actually testing it and having to bounce it and send it to your iPhone. And so all of that is controlled by the Presonus Central Station here, where you can go between the different monitors with just a press of the button. And you can switch between sources too. So I can play something off of my phone, or I can send the actual audio from the video editing setup right over here. I just hit source number 2, and then if I want to switch back to this computer, I just hit source number 1. And so this has been a big piece of my editing puzzle, where I can just switch between things really quickly. So another big thing when you're working on studio build and you're working on your desks, being able to get to your interfaces and access the ports and the different preamps and the inputs and outputs on the back of the interfaces is very important. And most of the time, the way it's set up, you have to get back behind it, you have to crawl under it. It's not a lot of fun, but in this situation, I wanted to create desks that actually were on wheels and could move out. And so there's 3 individual stations, each one of which can come out, and I can access the back of it without having to crawl underneath or break my back trying to squeeze into a tight corner and access the back of these interfaces. Now, another cool thing here is the Dante network I mentioned before. And so these Focusrite Red 8 pre's are actually connected to basically an audio internet, an audio network. And so I've got these switchers here. One is my actual internet switcher, and then the other is my Dante switcher. And so everything connects to a network switch, and those Ethernet category cables go out to the different ports on the Rapco wall plates. And also I have wires running from every room in my house down here so that I can connect and send audio signals. Now that gets back to what I was talking about in the green room, where I can actually send video and audio signals from in here to the green room so that you can see and hear what's going on, and those artists don't have to all be in this room or in that room to hear and see the session. They can actually hang out in the green room, eat candy, whatever, Oreos, and listen to the mix. And I can send a custom mix to that room, just like I can send a custom mix via those AM2s in the live room for each of the artists. I can do the same to the speakers inside of the green room as well, which I'll show you in a minute. Change all my lights to blue.
Okay, blue.
So it's pretty fun being able to actually change the vibe in the space depending on the type of song we're recording or the type of artist that's in. They can request, like, I want it darker, I want it lighter, I want it a different color. We're writing a sad song, make it blue. Now, a lot of these lights respond to my phone, and it's a cool little thing. But the rest of them all respond to remote controls, and I think this is kind of funny. These are just a few of the remote controls that I have for all the different lighting aspects within the studio. So whenever I'm like, oh yeah, I want to do this over here and change that color, I gotta find the right remote, which I recommend trying to do everything with one remote if you can. But Didn't think of that one ahead of time. Now over here, this is probably my favorite thing in the whole room. This is my Igniter snare drum, which I just like having one of those on the wall as a reminder of why I do it, to ignite a passion in drummers and people around the world for music and drumming. But past that, I also have this counter right here. And so this is a live counter that shows the number of subscribers I have on YouTube. Now, this isn't to brag. It's not to be like, I'm so cool. No, it's all about the fact that each one of those numbers represents a person. And when I'm sitting here working, and I can spin around and look up there and see 5 more people have followed, or 1 more person has followed, or 100 more people have followed, that reminds me, like, man, this work that I'm doing right now is going to reach out and hopefully affect somebody, hopefully make somebody smile, hopefully inspire somebody. And I really hope that this space and this studio has done that for you, because I put a lot of effort into it, and I truly believe that if you want to do something like this, with a lot of work, a lot of time, and definitely investment as well, like, there is the possibility for you to create something really cool. And I don't know, I didn't really say this before, but I didn't know how to do any of this before I started. I learned all of it from YouTube. Thank you YouTube. And some great friends and people around me taught me some of these different steps, and I built this place myself. So I really hope that this goes to show you that, go for it, try it, make something happen. And the studio series that I'm going to be putting out, I really hope that I'm able to answer a lot of questions and give you guys great insight into how to do your own home studio builds, and how to make it sound better, and what equipment to use, and if you're going to build something, how do you make sure that it's ready for the future. And so I'm excited for it. Lastly, we do have to go look at that green room, because I want to show you how it interconnects and a few other cool things about that room that maybe you might enjoy. So let's head on to the green room. So back to the green room now. Like I said, I didn't want to give away the ending before we kind of showed the live room and the control room and everything. So here's what it looks like from the green room if you're just hanging out. You've got the video feed from the live room. You can also send the video feed from the control room, or the program feed of the live stream, whatever you want to send in here. I've got an HDMI matrix that can switch between HDMI signals and send it down this way. Then we've got the Presonus Eris monitors again, connected to the AM2, so that I can bus whatever signal I want to send in here. So say they just want to hear what the bass player is playing during the live stream, you could do that. If you just wanted to hear what the overall mix is sounding like so far, you can do that. Or you can hear a mix, but the drums are higher, so you can hear what the drummer is playing, etc., etc. You can do whatever mix you want. And that's what's really cool about it. This right here is completely live, so check this out. Sorry, I just felt like I wanted to do that. This is probably the goofiest studio tour you've ever watched, but if you've seen my videos, that's who I am. I'm just a guy who likes to play the drums and is really goofy and lame. But anyway, this room also has an NES Classic. For those of you who are familiar, that's what I grew up playing, so I had to get one of these so that everybody could play the old school Mario and Tetris and stuff. Also got an Xbox One in here, so PS4 in there, Xbox One in here. No matter which side of the battle you're on, you've got something to play. And a few other cool segments here. So I needed to multi-purpose the space. I wanted a table to eat at, but I also wanted a bed to sleep at. And I didn't want to sleep on a table. So I built this. This is a table that folds up, and then the bed folds down. So very good mixed use of space. I guess I'm bragging on myself here a little bit, but it's been really cool to be able to host people here when they come in. Like, say I've got a YouTube buddy that wants to come play but doesn't want to spend hundreds of dollars on a hotel. Well, if you can get here, I got a bed for you. You can stay here right at the studio, and so it works out really well. Well, yeah, so that is the studio tour. I'm sure it's like 3 hours long at this point, so I'm going to kick you out. I hope you guys are excited for the upcoming studio series, and I'm really excited to show you some of the ins and outs of how to build your own home studio, and hopefully all the things that I learned over the past 3 years, I can transfer over to you and help you make your home studio and your YouTube videos and recordings even better. So it's time to kick you out. You can't stay forever. Let's go. Let's get out of here.